So real quick, I just wanted to say, first of all, Peter, John, and James, the actual disciples of Jesus, didn't write any books whatsoever about Jesus. These books were written by different authors, again, 80 to 100 and plus years after Jesus died, and the actual disciples of Christ had nothing to do with writing these books. Second, I just want to point out that Paul's gospel is not the same at all as the book of James's version of the gospel, so-called. In fact, if you lay the book of James side by side with the book of Galatians and read them chapter by chapter, it looks like they're arguing with each other. It's pretty wild. James actually taught, or the author of James actually taught, that salvation comes through faith and works. If you read the whole of James chapter 2, he makes that very, very clear. But Paul taught quite the opposite. He taught that salvation comes without works by any means whatsoever. And if you look to the book of Acts, you'll see that the original 12 disciples, if we are to believe the book of Acts to be authentic, that the original 12 disciples actually still kept the Torah, they still kept the feasts, they still circumcised believers, etc., etc. Whereas Paul taught the exact opposite of that. Paul taught that circumcision is nothing, and if you circumcise someone, then you're cutting them off from Christ, essentially. Although he then went on to circumcise Timothy after saying that. But long story short, there is no simple, concise, and consistent gospel message in the New Testament, and that is exactly why you have 30 to 40,000 separate Christian denominations, because Christians simply cannot agree on soteriology or the method of salvation, and that's why they argue constantly, and there's so many different churches. If there was a simple, unified gospel message, then there'd only be one church. Likewise, if there was a unified Holy Spirit leading Christians, there would only be one church. But because there is no Holy Spirit leading anyone into unity, and there is no consistent gospel message from book to book and author to author, again, these authors weren't actually disciples. Because of that, we do have a non-unified church body, many different denominations, and a lot of argument and confusion on the internet within Christianity itself. Heck, even Jesus himself taught in the book of Matthew that you're supposed to keep the Torah and continue keeping the law. He said that it will surely not pass away until heaven and earth have passed away, and anyone who teaches against the Torah will be least in the kingdom of heaven, but those who keep Torah will be greatest in the kingdom of heaven. But Paul teaches completely against Torah over and over again. I hope that helps give you a little bit more perspective, and I can't help but tell you, you got to watch my New Testament Debunked playlist on my YouTube channel ASAP.